Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swayam Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vidantas Swami. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vidantas Swami. Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Pashtya Deshatarini. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming for Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21, text number 8. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashta Praya Shabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavachuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavachinaishtiki. So tāvat prasanno bhagavān. Tāvat prasanno bhagavān. Puṣkara-akṣaḥ kṛte yuge. Puṣkara-akṣaḥ kṛte yuge. Darśayām kṣattaḥ. Darśayām kṣattaḥ. Śābdaṁ brahma dadhat vapuḥ. Śābdaṁ brahma dadhat vapuḥ. Tāvat prasanno bhagavān. Puṣkara-akṣaḥ kṛte yuge. Darśayām kṣattaḥ. Śābdaṁ brahma dadhat vapuḥ. Tāvat prasanno bhagavān. Puṣkara-akṣaḥ kṛte yuge. Darśayām kṣattaḥ. Śābdaṁ brahma dadhat vapuḥ. Tāvat prasanno bhagavān. Puṣkara-akṣaḥ kṛte yuge. Kṛte. śābdaṁ brahma dadhat vapuḥ tāvat prasanno bhagavān puṣkara-akṣaḥ kṛte yuge tāvat prasanno bhagavān puṣkara-akṣaḥ kṛte yuge darśayām kṣattaḥ śābdaṁ brahma dadhat vapuḥ. Ladies, tāvat prasanno bhagavān puṣkara-akṣaḥ kṛte yuge darśayām kṣattaḥ śābdaṁ brahma dadhat vapuḥ. Tāvat, then prasannaḥ, being pleased, bhagavān, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, puṣkara-akṣaḥ, lotus-eyed, kṛte yuge, in the Satya-yuga, darśayām, showed, tam, to that Kardama Muni, kṣattaḥ, O Vidura, śābdam, which is to be understood only through the Vedas, brahma, the absolute truth, dadhad, exhibiting, vapuḥ, his transcendental body. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Then, in the Satya-yuga, the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead, being pleased, showed himself to that Kardama Muni and displayed his transcendental form, which can be understood only through the Vedas. Purport. Here, 2 points are very significant. The first is that Kardama Muni attained success by yoga practice in the beginning of Satya-yuga, when people used to live for 100,000 years. Kardama Muni attained success, and the Lord, being pleased with him, showed him his form, which is not imaginary. Sometimes the impersonalists recommend that one can arbitrarily concentrate one's mind on some form he imagines or which pleases him. But here it is very clearly said that the form which the Lord showed to Kardama Muni by his divine grace is described in the Vedic literature. Śābdaṁ brahma. The forms of the Lord are clearly indicated in the Vedic literature. Kardama Muni did not discover any imaginary form of God, as alleged by rascals. He actually saw the eternal, blissful and transcendental form of the Lord. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute tapta kanchena gaurangi radhe vrindavaneshwari vrishabhanu sute devi pranamami hari priye vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kathanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam syat Shri Chaitanyam namamitam. Hare Krishna. In this verse, in the translation, it is said that the Lord can be understood through the Vedas and how the Lord showed His divine form. And we can also understand the Lord. So next question is, how can we attain that level of Kardama Muni to be able to see the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord? About this we will discuss later, but now I also want to share. So in the Purport, Srila Prabhupada said that there are 2 points in this verse. First point is that it was described 2 days before by Kishore Prabhu that Kardama Muni was performing his austerities in Satya-yuga. So it's required a long time to attain perfection on the path of yoga. And second point, that he meditated not on some imaginary form. He was meditating on some particular form of the Supreme Lord. And which form? So meditation, it's not just meditation on something, it's meditation on the form of the Lord. It's a very scientific process. And one more point I can bring from the purport by Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, which is very interesting. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, in the purport to this verse, he is analyzing one word, dadhat vapuḥ. The last 2 words in this verse, dadhat vapuḥ. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he gives to these words different meaning. And he explains the phrase dadhat vapuḥ can also mean revealing his form of eternity, knowledge and bliss, and can also mean nourished by the scents, garlands and food offered by Kardama. So what is the meaning of that? So Kardama Muni, during his meditation, he was not just simply watching the Supreme Lord, like in Shantarasa. In Shantarasa we just watching the Supreme Lord and we are happy by doing that. But in more advanced rasas, we perform service to the Supreme Lord. So Kardama Muni, he was not just observing the form, he was decorating the Lord. He was offering food to him. And amazing, the Lord accepted his offerings. He accepted his garlands. He accepted the food offered by him. And he wanted to show Kardama Muni that I reciprocate with you. So you pleased me. And he appeared in that very form Kardama Muni was meditating upon. This is very inspiring for us. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, in one context, if I'm not mistaken, that it was regarding the description of the meaning of the name Rama in Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Who is that Rama? Somebody says Rama means Dashara Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram. Somebody says this is Parashurama. And somebody says this is Radharamana Hari Krishna. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says Jai Jai Rupi Jane Saita Hakohe Sakala Sambhav Krishna Kichu Mitya Nahi. For Krishna everything is possible. There is nothing untruth is in him. So by his desire he can reveal any form the devotee wants to see. ye yadhamam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. As we serve Krishna, Krishna reciprocates accordingly. This is very pleasing to us. And also, there is one verse which is very much appropriate to today's lecture. This is also from the same 3rd canto, 9th chapter, 11th verse. Tam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja asya shrute kṣite patho nanunatha pumsam yad yadi yata aurugaya vibhavayanti tatad vapuḥ pranayase sadanugrahaya. This is very, very interesting verse and very important for us because, O my Lord, I will quote now only the second part. The first part I will quote later. But now the second part. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of the transcendence in which they always think of you. So if we think of the Lord in some particular form as Krishna, Chaitanya, Jagannath, or if we have some particular deity we like, for example, some devotees are attracted towards Radha Shyama Sundara in Vrindavan, some towards Radha Madhava or Radha Ramana or their home deities, they develop attachment to them. So Krishna will reciprocate to them in that particular form. And that is His mercy. And this is wonderful quality of Krishna. He is very, very merciful to His devotees. He always reciprocates with love. And in Krishna book, or in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is one chapter which is named Krishna pleases his devotees. So Krishna left Vrindavan and he came to Mathura Puri, and in Mathura Puri he met with very interesting people, but some of them were devotees. One of them was Pingala is another one, Kubja. And Kubja was attracted by Krishna, but she had some lusty desires towards Krishna. But she did some service to Krishna. At once, she was taking risk because her service was to bringing some ointments, some oils for Kamsa. But when he saw Krishna and Balarama, he understood, these nice things are meant to be used only by them. So she immediately renounced her service fearlessly, and she decided, I will surrender to Krishna in such a way that I will offer all these nice things to Krishna and Balarama. And Krishna, he was very, very pleased by that, and he helped Kubja. He made her very beautiful young woman. But she had lusty desires, so overcome by those lusty desires, he invited Krishna to her home. Krishna, please come one day to me, and I want to spend nice time with you. I'm very expert, please come. And Krishna promised, now I have some business in Mathura. So many demons are there, I need to kill all of them. But after that, I will surely come and satisfy you. And then Akrura, who was driving Krishna and Balarama to Mathura, he also pleaded to Krishna, Krishna, please come to me, please come to my house. And Krishna said, yes, I will come. But it took a lot of time for Akrura. And Akrura, every day he was waiting. He was preparing nice feast. He was cleaning his house because he was awaiting Krishna's arrival. And he wanted very much Krishna to come. But Krishna did not come. One day, next day he did not come, next day he didn't come. But Akrura didn't give up. Eventually Krishna came to Akrura. And what to speak of gopis? So recently I was trying to make some analysis. How many times Krishna promised that he will come back to Vrindavan? How many times? First it was when he was leaving Vrindavan. Just his last words were, I will come back. Also, in the arena when he killed Kamsa, so some devotees from Vrindavan were present, Nanda Maharaj, and he also told him, I will come back, don't worry. And several times after that, in Kurukshetra, he was promising, I will come back, I will come back, I will come back, don't worry. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, seemingly, we don't see that. We don't see that confirmation, how it happened. So I personally was a little bit disturbed by that, because, Krishna promised. But devotees were suffering so much in Vrindavan. Gopis, they did not decorate themselves, and they did not clean their houses properly. So much suffering was there. It reminds me about the condition of Navadvipa when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world. Narottam Das Thakur, it's described the story of him when Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivasacharya, they did not personally meet the Lord. It was their unfortunate, we may say. But when Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivasacharya, both of them, they completed Gauramandala Parikrama. They visited all the houses of prominent devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And once Narottam Das Thakur, he came to Navadvipa, and he wanted to see the house of Jagannatha Mishra. He wanted to see the houses of Advaita Acharya and other devotees, Abhiram Thakur, Dhananjaya Pandit, and other Dvadasha Gopalas, and other devotees of Mahaprabhu. But when he came to Navadvipa, he saw, everybody was suffering so much in separation with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the atmosphere was very, very, very hard. It was very intense, and the atmosphere of unhappiness, seemingly, he felt there in Navadvipa, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world. But then he started talking to the devotees of Navadvipa, and they were able only to talk about Mahaprabhu. It was a great fortune. So the same condition was in Vrindavan when Krishna left Vrindavan. So devotees were suffering. And in Moscow, we were reading 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number 12. It's about Uddhava Gita. Uddhava Gita is like Bhagavad Gita, but it's a more elaborate description of the same instructions that Lord Krishna has given to Arjuna. And I didn't expect anything surprising to find in that Uddhava Gita, but there was one hint in the verse. It was just a form of verbal form. And by analyzing that verbal form, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu, he concluded that it's an indication that Lord Krishna already visited Vrindavan before that. So I was surprised, and I was starting reading the commentary on this verse, and it amazed me so much, because previously also I had experience. I was giving classes about Jiva Goswami, but actually before that I have never met with Jiva Goswami. But how can we meet with acharyas? We can meet with them in their writings, in their books. And to me it was such a revelation, such a surprise. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu, he proved that Lord Krishna actually came back to Vrindavan. He described when it happened and so on. So Krishna eventually came back to Vrindavan. He spent there 2 months, and it's more elaborately described in some other book of Srila Jiva Goswami, Gopal Champu. So Krishna always reciprocates with his devotees. And he also came to the Kubja's house with Akrura, with Uddhava. And she wanted to enjoy with Krishna, but as soon as Krishna touched her once, she lost all her lusty desires, and she surrendered to Krishna. That is Krishna's mercy. And there is one wonderful verse in this regard. It is quoted by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But it's very interesting that Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami also, they compiled so many books, and at that time there were no Veda-based, no ChatGPT, no Google. So how they were able to remember so many verses? How they were able to know what is written where? And actually, we don't know from where it was, because in the purport to this verse, Srila Jiva Goswami, he states, that verse, particular verse, which I am going to quote now, it's a part of a letter which sent by Uddhava, by Akrura to Uddhava, I think. So what happened? It's described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 56, the story of Simantika jewel, Simantika money. That story is very unparalleled and we can say not ordinary story. What happened? Satyajit was a great devotee, but actually the word bhakta or devotee is applicable only to Krishna, but he was a follower, he was a worshipper, is better to say, of Suryadev. And Suryadev, in response, he donated to him, he presented him a gift, this money, this jewel, Simantika, which was able to produce huge amount of gold daily. And Satyajit, actually Krishna, when he came to Dwaraka, Satyajit, Krishna requested him to donate that jewel to me, but he declined. Instead, he installed this jewel in one temple, and he was doing puja, and daily he was getting a lot of gold. But then, what happened? He had a younger brother, Prasanno, and Prasanno wanted to show the opulence of his family, and he took the jewel and he go to the forest. But unfortunately, to him, he was killed by one lion. Lion killed him, and with him he took Simantika jewel. But some people with a bad nature, with a bad character, they started criticizing Krishna. He blamed Krishna that he himself killed Satyajit, because Satyajit did not give Simantika jewel to Krishna. So it was not very pleasing. So Krishna decided to protect his reputation, because for a big person, for a guru, for example, for a sannyasi, it's very important to maintain his reputation, because that is their service. If guru, that's why disciple is called chhatra. Chhatra, it means an umbrella. Disciple should be like an umbrella for his guru to protect him, because if the reputation of guru is destroyed, then he cannot give mercy to others. He cannot save other souls. He cannot uplift others. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada said, there is one particular verse that Krishna can forgive an offender, but the dust of the lotus feet of devotees will not forgive an offender. So, for example, if somebody offends guru, offends one pure devotee will not be angry to him. He is humble, he will forgive him. But the dust from his lotus feet will not forgive. And that dust will destroy the offender. Why? Because, see, when somebody offended one sannyasi, for example, one particular guru, then his reputation is destroyed. And because of that, he cannot help so many people. And that energy which can be channeled, which can be given to help others, that same energy will destroy the offender proportionately. So that is the danger of offense. That's why it's very important for guru, for a preacher, his reputation he must maintain, and other devotees should help to maintain, to protect the reputation of preachers, because it's very important. Otherwise, they won't be able to help others. So Krishna wanted to protect his own reputation also. That's why he went to the forest. He took some assistants with him, and he went to that forest, and he found the dead Prasanna, the dead body of Prasanna. He was killed by a lion, but next he saw lion is also killed, and no jewel. What happened? What happened next we know. There was one devotee in the form of bear, Jambavan. Jambavan, he killed the lion, but he was a great devotee of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada explains he was a great devotee. That's why, what is it? Some small little jewel, insignificant. I don't need that. Let me give it to my child. He will play with it. And so he did. And Krishna saw lion is dead, Prasanna is dead. What to do? He moved forward. Then he saw there one hole. Oh, maybe this is the entrance to somebody's house. Let me check. And he went inside that hole, and he saw children playing with Simantika jewel. But there was one Mataji safeguard, of that baby, and she started screaming, "Oh, what's going on? Who is that? Who has came here?" And angry Jambavan appeared. And Srila Prabhupada explained that is a lesson that in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Narakasya kamah krodhas tatha lobhas tasmat etatrayam tyajet. There are 3 gates to hell: kama, krodha, and lobha. One of the gates is anger, krodha. It was a lesson, don't become angry, otherwise you won't be able to even recognize your worshipable Lord. So Jambavan could not recognize his worshipable Lord. He was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra, and he started fighting with Krishna. Eventually he understood that I cannot defeat him. It must be only Supreme Lord. And he surrendered to him, and he gave that Simantika jewel, and also he gave his daughter to Krishna. Then the story continues. And in that story, what happened next? 2 devotees of Yadu dynasty, Akrura, who was so close to Krishna that he trusted him, he entrusted to him the very difficult and confidential task to give solace to gopis in Vrindavan. He was very confidential devotee of Krishna. And another one was Kṛte. Kṛte also a great devotee of Yadu dynasty. So the 2 devotees, they paid money. Actually, they asked another person whose name was Shatadhanva to kill Satrajit. So how can devotees do that? To order somebody to kill another devotee. Actually, their motive was to protect reputation of Krishna, but it was not very good action, it seems. So they killed Satrajit. And Krishna became very upset with Balarama. He played a role that he was upset. So he was starting running towards Shatadhanva. He wanted to catch him. He was fleeing. Eventually they catched him and they killed him. After that, Balarama went to Mithila, and they found that there was no Simantika money with him also. What to do? And eventually it was revealed that the jewel was with Akrura. So Krishna, eventually he came to Akrura, who committed this strong offense actually. And Balarama was upset because he knew what will happen. Everybody knew that Krishna will come to Akrura and he will forgive him. Actually, that has happened. Akrura told, yes, the jewel is with me, and Krishna has forgiven him. And why it happened with Akrura? There is a mystery. The secret is like that. Our acharyas explain, when Akrura was sent to Vrindavan, Akrura had a mission to brought Krishna from Vrindavan to Mathura, and gopis, they were not happy with that, and gopis, they cursed Akrura. What was Akrura's fault? It was his duty, it was his order to take Krishna and Balarama and take them to Mathura. What was Akrura's fault? His fault is that, although it was his duty, he did not try properly to give solace to gopis. He did not try to pacify them, to say a few words, don't worry, etc. He couldn't understand their grief, their misery, their sufferings. That was a reason that later Akrura committed such an offense. And then Akrura was forgiven totally. And he amazed, wow, Krishna, he's so kind to me, he has forgiven me. And then he sent this verse to Uddhava. Vrityasya pashyati guru napina paradhan sevan managapi kritam bahudha vyupati avishkaroti pishuneshvapina vyasuyam shilena nirmalamatih purushottamoyam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Purushottama, the greatest of all persons, has a pure mind. He is so gentle that even if his servant is implicated in a great offense, he does not take it very seriously. Indeed, if his servant renders some small service, the Lord accepts it as being very great. Even if an envious person blasphemes the Lord never manifests anger against him. Such are his great qualities. This is a part of the second volume of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and that particular part is dedicated to divine qualities of Krishna. That is one of the qualities, Dakshinaha, quality number 34. A person who is mild due to his excellent nature is called compliant by the intelligent. So this is a divine quality of Krishna. Before that, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami also paraphrases this verse. Ishvara sabhav bhaktar nahoya parat alpaseva bahumane attam parjanta prasad. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not take seriously an offense committed by a pure devotee. The Lord accepts whatever small service a devotee renders as being such a great service that he is prepared to give even himself, what to speak of other benedictions. Also, another example of that quality of Krishna is from 89th chapter of Krishna book, the story of Bhrigu Muni. There were one rishis, so-called rishis. I don't know how then can be called rishis, because they even did not know who is the Supreme. So those rishis, they wanted to know who is the Supreme, who is the most magnanimous person, and who is mostly situated in sattva. So they decided, they chose Bhrigu Muni to come and test personally three of the great personalities of this world, Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. And first, Bhrigu Muni came to the abode of Lord Brahma, who was his father. And it's a duty, it's an etiquette that a son should offer obeisances to his father and to chant some prayers, some glories of his father. So Bhrigu Muni wanted to test his father, so he came, he didn't do anything. He didn't offer obeisances, and he did not offer any prayers to Lord Brahma. And it is told, at first, immediately, Lord Brahma, some anger arose in him, but because he was a powerful personality, so he did not show any anger. Okay, Hare Krishna, how are you? And he understood, he detected some anger in Lord Brahma. So no, it cannot be the main person. So next he went to the abode of Lord Shiva, who was his brother. When you meet your brother, you're very happy, you will embrace him. And Lord Shiva was also very happy to see his dear Bhrigu, and he wanted to embrace him. And he came and wanted to give a big hook to him, but Bhrigu Muni declined. No, I'm sorry. you're so dirty, you smeared all your body with ashes. So you're so dirty, how can I embrace you? I know. And Lord Shiva, he was in charge of Tamaguna. So immediately he wanted to kill his brother. But it was his wife, Parvati, who saved Bhrigu Muni. And that's why Bhrigu Muni was forgiven, and he was able to go to Lord Vishnu. And when he came to Lord Vishnu was laying down, and Lakshmi Devi was massaging his lotus feet. And Bhrigu Muni immediately he attacked Lord Vishnu, and he struck him to his chest. But Lord Vishnu did not show any anger whatsoever. But how he reciprocated? He thought, "Oh, I'm sorry, my dear devotee. I could not properly receive you. Please forgive me for that great offense. And you must hurt your so soft feet, because my chest is so hard. Let me massage your lotus feet, and maybe by doing that I will be forgiven. I'm very respectful to Brahmanas. You are one of them. So what can I do for you? Please tell me. I want to serve you." And when Bhrigu Muni heard these very compassionate words of the Lord, he started crying, because he was totally mesmerized. I don't know. He was touched by that nature of the Supreme Lord. So how can a person be like that? I wanted to hurt him, but he instead started praising me. So Krishna is like that. Krishna is very caring personality. When we find somebody in this world who is very compassionate, who forgives us for any offense, wow, we are touched by that person. What to speak of Krishna? He is million times more mild, more soft than anybody in this world, such as his wonderful qualities. But in this Leela, one interesting point I found. Then Parvati, he protected, actually he saved Bhrigu Muni. But Lakshmi Devi, she cursed not only Bhrigu Muni, but all the Brahmanas. Lord Vishnu, he was undisturbed, but Lakshmi Ji, she cursed Brahmanas. Now, all the Brahmanas, you will be very poor eternally. It was cursed, but it was seemingly cursed. Actually, it was a blessing for the Brahmanas, because that is very guna, that is their divine quality. That is a blessing to the Brahmanas to be poor, because they won't be affected by wealth. As we see by the example of Satyajit, I don't know what would happen to me if I get some wealth, some little wealth. What to speak of Simantaka jewel? It's very big test. And so Krishna don't want to tempt us. That's why he keeps Brahmanas poor. It was a blessing of Lakshmi Devi. So that is a description of the divine qualities of Lord Krishna, how he reciprocates to these devotees. Then how can we meet with that Lord Krishna, with that merciful, wonderful Lord? And the answer is given in the first part of the verse I quoted in the beginning, Tam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Hrit Saroja. So we can meet Krishna not by seeing, but by hearing. In this particular verse it is said, Śābda Brahma. In Taumā Upanishadam Parushao Pričami. The Lord is to be known by the Vedas. So the Vedas can reveal to us the Supreme Lord. But what is the science? How can we know the Supreme Lord by the Vedas? Interestingly, we know there are three pramanas: Pratyakṣa, Anumana, and Śābda. But one more point was added by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Tattva Sandarbha. In the portion known as Sarva Samvadini, Jiva Goswami says, Shashtrartha yukta nubhavah pramanam tuttamam matam anumadya nasvatantrah pramana padavim yayuhu. there is one higher pramana. What is that? Personal realization supported by the teachings of Shastra is considered the most excellent means of correct knowledge. So if somebody realizes the Supreme Lord, he got darshana and he got direct perception of the Supreme Lord, like we know in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Udam Idam Uttamam Pratyakṣaḥ Dharmyam Susukam Kartam Avyayam. So somebody who attained that level of pratyakṣaḥ Dharmyam, who experienced the Supreme Lord, and that experience proves the statements of Shastra, that is the biggest pramana. And when we hear from such a person how he speaks about Krishna, it will be the most beneficial to us. So we will be able to understand Krishna if we hear about Krishna from such devotees who realized Krishna. This is the most powerful method. So that's what we are supposed to do. Prior to coming to the West, Srila Prabhupada, he was writing articles for his Back to Godhead magazine. And one of the articles is called Perfection at Home. How can we attain perfection at home? And Srila Prabhupada at first he gives very brief overview of Abhideya, how to attain Krishna. First he criticizes some other not honest people, he criticizes Mayavadis, then he explains the teachings of Ramananda Rai in the conversation with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he said, I want to read from that essay of Srila Prabhupada. It's very, very interesting and very instructive for us. Perfection at Home. You can find it in Vedabase. When the puffed up idea of becoming one with the Lord is given up, one is sure to become a humble and meek personality before the Lord. And this submissive attitude makes him qualified to enter into the kingdom of God. By submissive oral reception of the powerful messenger of the Lord, or his bona fide representative, the Acharya, who is a self-realized soul, one is sure to be awakened by his original spiritual consciousness. So the process is submissive hearing from the right source. Srila Prabhupada continues. According to the opinion of the Lord, of Lord Chaitanya, there are as many Mahatmas in the midst of the householders as there are in the midst of the renounced order of life. He is not very eager to turn anybody into the life of sannyasi from the life of a householder. Neither he is anxious to pick up spiritualists from the community of a particular class, society, nation, or group of people. He is in fact for everyone and all, even for the birds and the beasts in the jungle. Considering all the different phases of preaching activities of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is evident that one has to learn the art of the approved method, and nobody has to change his position of worldly life. What is that approved method? That is the purport of teachings in the Bhagavad Gita. The process of submissive hearing from the self-realized sources will help one in every way. That will inject and that will make one able to receive the message of Godhead from the innermost region of one's own self. So powerful words of Srila Prabhupada. The process of oral perception, it will inject and it will help us in every way. So this is the way how can we understand the Lord among all the 9 processes of devotional service. 3 first are the most important, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. And we can perform some wonderful activities in the preaching mission that we are supposed to do. This is one side. Another side, we should not neglect our sadhana. And the main process of our sadhana is to hear about Krishna. Hear and then repeat. Hear from the right source. Sometimes Krishna sends to us sufferings. Sometimes Krishna puts us in difficult situations when somebody gives us trouble, our boss, our neighbors, our wife, our husband, and maybe sometimes out of the lack of experience we want to change our position. We want to reject our husband, our wife, our job, to find another job, but that is not recommended by Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna recommends. Srila Prabhupada, he paraphrased this verse, Gyane prayasamudapasyanamante eva jaivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam sthane stitah. He told, sthane stitah. Stay wherever you are staying. Sthane stitah, literally. And tanavan manobir. So sometimes when we are in a difficult situation, it's an indication. Krishna wants us to hear more, to do more shravanam. Because when situation is difficult, we may try different methods to rectify the situation, but they will not help unless they are connected to Krishna directly. And the best method is to do more shravanam in difficult situations. It will help us in every way Srila Prabhupada promised. It will inject. Inject, it means we will start thinking of Krishna more. And when Krishna surja sama, Maya hoya andhakar, Jahan Krishna, tahad nahi maya radhikar. Wherever is Krishna present in His divine name, in the form of Krishna Katha, the sufferings will go away. So this is a message. This is the message of Srila Prabhupada. In relation to this verse, I want to stop here. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Prabhu wants to say something.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Abhinav Prabhu, for wonderful class. Hare Krishna. My question is that at the end you are telling that the process of realizing God is hearing from self-realized souls. So usually we hear either through personally physical hearing, and secondly that recorded hearing. So can you please put some light? What is the difference between physically hearing, one-to-one hearing, and the hearing what we do recorded ones? Could you tell some?
You mean the difference between physically present or online, or what?
Yeah, online, or could be recorded video, recorded audio. Yeah.
Okay. So the quality of the hearing process depends on both sides. Depends on the speaker, depends on the listener. So of course it's easier for the listener to give his mercy to us, because while he is present we can watch him how he's behaving. Because if you see, for example, the speaker online, maybe now I'm wearing dhoti, but online we don't know what's going on. Where is he sitting? What is he eating? We don't know. What is his qualities? How he behaves? For me, it was experience when for the first time I met my spiritual master. I was not convinced at that time that he is my spiritual master. I saw him in the festival, but I saw he's not of this world. He's completely absorbed in Krishna. And also I was able to see how he is chanting japa, etc. in dealings with devotees. So it gives opportunity to concentrate more on him. So it's always best to be present. And that, as Bhagavatam says, that saffron particles emanating from the mouth of speaker, it's more likely you will get. But what to do? Hearing is also potent, maybe less potent, but the other side is our side. So the process of hearing depends on us. How do we hear? One of the qualities of hearing, actually, I wanted to say about this, but I didn't have time. But one I will mention, called satkara. Satkara means respect. Like in nectar of instruction, it's recommended to adarat, anudinam, kalusaiva justa. We can imbibe from that verse. Adarat, with great respect, and anudinam, regularly. So, with great respect, if we approach spiritual master, we will get benefit. But what I found when I sit personally before the speaker, I can switch off my mobile and I can concentrate. But for me, if I'm somewhere cycling or walking or sitting in front of my laptop or hearing from my headphones, it's very difficult to keep concentration. I need to hear twice the same lecture because so many distractions are there. And when you're in presence with Guru, you can ask questions. Even in some smaller temples, you can take prasadam together. You can give some gift. Adati Pratigrifnati is also part of the process. So he will be able to give more mercy. That's why it's important for preachers to travel. It's important for us to invite preachers because Vani Seva and Vapuḥ Seva. Vapuḥ Seva is also important. Just to watch and try to understand how that devotee lives, what's in his heart, which motives drives him in his life, what motivates him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Please forgive me if my words or sentences would not be appropriate while asking the question. You have mentioned the pastime of Akrura. Akrura was forgiven for his offense of not pacifying or showing sympathy towards the gopis. So there is that is the confusion in my mind is going on right now. A devotee is only forgiven by another devotee with whom they have done the offense. How Lord Krishna directly forgiven the Akrura without the devotee has not forgiven him? Because what we have heard, if we are doing any offense towards any other devotee, so we have to go to the devotee and then devotee will forgive, then only Lord Krishna will approve or will forgive. Otherwise not. So this is the confusion. Can you just clarify?
One side is Krishna has forgiven Akrura for the offense of hiding the Simantaka jewel. It was not for that first offense. That is one thing. And another thing, that that pastime also was planned personally by Krishna. So he forced Akrura to behave in such a way. He was a pure devotee. Pure devotees there is no chance that a pure devotee can offend others. It's one of the definition of Uttama-adhikari. There is no chance. It's from Bhakti, from Nectar of Instruction. There is no chance. But Krishna, he created that situation to teach us. Bala Shasana Artham. That was the case. So we can learn how we should not behave on the example of Akrura. Even if we have some difficult service to punish others, but if we are temple commander, we need to punish. I am commander, but as a duty, like Srila Prabhupada's father, he used to tell, so you are my son, I must punish you, so please don't mind. So it was the right attitude. I don't know, do we have time?
Hare Krishna. Regarding this art of forgiveness, we see that when Jagai Madhai, they were delivered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forgave them on the condition that they should not repeat the mistake again. So, what if someone is repeating the mistake again and again and again? So, what to be done in that case?
We can take example of us. Most probably, it's not our first attempt to practice devotional service. In previous lifetimes, we also could commit the same sins again and again and again and again. So, I don't know, in cases of some devotees, they want to follow the regulative principles, but again and again they failed because of some previous karma, previous offenses. Again and again they promised, or we can also promise, from today I will start going to Mangalarati every day. And no failure, one more failure, again one more failure. We promise, but we are unable. It's one of the stages of Anishita Bhajana Kriya. We are trying, but we fail. We're trying, we fail. So sincerity is the secret in that case. So sincerity. If we make a sincere and firm decision, whatever happens, and like in 11th canto, Jata Shraddha Matkan Kasu Nivinah Sarama Karmasu Tato Paritaki Pranishwaraha Tato Pajetamam Pritak Shraddha Lu Dridhanishchaha Jushamanash Kaman Urkadam Chagar Hayam. Am I quoting the right verse? Anyway, it is said in the 11th canto, even if devotee tries to serve Krishna, tries to renounce all his bad habits, but he is unable to do so, he should not become upset. He just peacefully and happily continues, sincerely trying to serve Krishna, and one day Krishna will bless him.
So, yes, you brought it this wonderful point that if someone is sincerely trying to rectify himself, but he's committing mistakes, so then yes, we can understand and we can adjust. But then if someone is on your face, he is begging for forgiveness, but he has ulterior motivations, duplicitous mentality. So what should we do? We should, in that case,
we should become sincere by association of sincere devotees. Only like that we can become sincere. Hare Krishna. Grantaraja Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Prema.